Ben doesn't know this question's coming to him, by the way. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, sitting out the office, what are we going to do to get your hands around the future and put yourself in the driving seat? That's such a mean question to ask, isn't it?
Call up Tesla and ask them nicely. What's the first thing you can do? I think it's a mind shift change. And the mind shift change is that legacy renewal, that legacy-free renewal idea, which is to spend some time looking at everything you do in your life and work. Just choose a domain, whatever it is, right, at work, and go, if we were to start doing this today from scratch, right? Never mind what we've always done, never mind what is considered best practice, never mind that. But if we were to do this from scratch today, given all of the toys that we've got to play with, all of the tools that we have, how would we do this thing? And that's actually quite hard, because the metacognition involved in that is very difficult to step back from that. And it is a skill within itself. But if you can do that, then you will find that there are many improvements that you can make, and there are many realizations that come from that. If I just have 30 seconds to give you an example of this. I haven't got the slide to show you, but all of these technologies have ramifications. And one of the ramifications that the internet, we've known about the internet for forever, is this death of distance idea, that you can work from pretty much anywhere for a certain class of jobs. There were a couple of websites, and I can share them on Twitter or whatever later, but there are a couple of websites now which realized that there are a whole class of people who went to business school in the US, got MBAs, and then kind of noped out of the corporate world, just like that. And they all moved to Bali, it turns out. Right. And so it turns out that Bali, there are certain beaches in Bali that have more MBAs doing yoga than anywhere else in the world. And they need enough money to pay for their joss sticks. And so, and their sarongs, and mango lassis and stuff. Right? And so, there are quite a few websites now where you can rent a Harvard MBA by the hour. Now what this means is that if you ever have anything that requires like an MBA level execution, Bali is on the other side of the globe, which means that you can get stuff done overnight by people who are really good for about 50 quid an hour. Right? And so I have had, and the same thing for the design industry as well. So I've had major work done by major designers and by major MBA, like senior level 20-year consultants and so on, for about 200 quid, where I've ordered it at 5 o'clock in the evening as I was leaving the office, and when I arrived at 8 o'clock the next morning, it was done. Now, that realization that the internet has given me a superpower, and the superpower is I can, through the force of my will and typing, get MBA level work done for me whilst I'm in the pub, has given me a superpower. And that's enormously liberating, as long as you don't tell your client.
Right.
And so it's a bit of an example, but it's the idea of you have to look at everything you do and go, is there a better way of doing this? And when you go through that process, it's a long and arduous process, but when you do, then you realize that actually the world is much wider and much more interesting.
Don't wait until Friday morning, because this, as Ben says, is something that doesn't happen when you sit down and think about it hard. It's a skill, takes time. It happens best when you discuss it with other people. Guess what? Other people. Today, take this challenge. If I was going to reinvent L&D, using all the stuff we've got, forgetting the legacy that I started from, OHPs, floppy disks, trained in front of a classroom, flip charts, how would I do it? What would I do differently if we could start from scratch today? Please take the challenge. Okay, we'll get it on social media, yeah? We want to get as much of this circulated. Let's start the buzz going. Then by the time you get to work on Friday morning at 9 o'clock, the work's done. You know what to do.